This conference will now be recorded.
All right, so today is Tuesday, April 23rd, and as always, everything that we're going to be talking about today is for educational purposes only, and nothing is intended as any type of investment advice. All right, so MBRX, man, I told you guys, these stocks, these cheaper stocks, especially when they jump up without some type of pullback, we end up seeing them and they come down like a house of cards. And I literally used that term twice yesterday. And this is what happens right here. I would hate to have been stuck in this stock because, as we can see, I mean, this thing just kind of just tanked, and there's nothing you could have done about that. By the time you were able to get out, it would have already been down. What about, it's almost 60 cents. So not really much that I see here that I have too much interest in, just because of the fact that, I mean, it's really kind of, you want to talk about a kiss of death, and that certainly constitutes for one. So not really anything that I see going on there that I care too much about. Now let's talk about Twitter. Twitter is definitely going to be on our list for this morning. We can see if it ever comes back up. Now we took, morning came in right above this print line right here at about 34.40. We saw some real nice volume come in, especially, it's not only the volume itself that I love, it's the time that the volume came in. Because if you look, I mean, we're talking about 7:10. The orders out there is, they're just not going to be in existence. Now, obviously, you're not going to tell me earnings. Okay, that's great. I don't care. 7 o'clock, that's a very early time for that much volume to come back in. So one thing that I'm not a big fan of, if it lets me go back, is right here. I did not like this at all. So you can see 36.60 and 36.50. We had some huge selling and somebody really kind of just get rid of their position. So I'm not a big fan of that. We know where there's going to be selling, but at the same time, we want to see that new buying that's coming in. And the new buying is pretty decent. I mean, we just did get a real nice burst between 36.65 and 36.80. But we're just kind of sitting in that consolidation. So obviously in consolidation, we know that it is going to be a bit mixed, and obviously we can see that. So really what we're going to be looking for once the morning comes in is that, that position. So if it starts to run up, I'm really going to be concerned. I mean, I have a big asterisk next to the number 36.50, okay, because 36.50 and 36.50, 60. As this thing is kind of pulling back up from there, we never really got a move down underneath, and the new buying just hasn't been as much as I would have liked to see compared to that amount of selling that came back in. Next one's Trove, TRV. Was that guy selling that same who bought at 34.50? I'm not sure what you mean. Was that guy selling the same who bought at 34.50? So let's take a it's very actually I understand now. Yeah, it's very possible. I mean, it would definitely make a lot of sense. Now, if we look at the consolidation that Twitter's been in, it's really hasn't been a great mover for pretty much a long time. I mean, we're going back all the way into July of 18. It's really been kind of stuck in this consolidation, not really making any type of move. So that it would definitely make a lot of sense for that to be the case. Now, next one is TROV. TROV. So I don't mind it right now at all, and it is holding, but I need it to hold right here. Otherwise, we're going to be, it more than likely the trade is going to be over. So that 390 level is going to be very important. So one thing that I'm not a huge fan of, okay, is the amount of prints that we got at 450. There really was nothing. I mean, you're talking about 3 prints, just not really anything. Now, there was some decent buying around, and I do like the buying that came in above that at 460. I do like this position. So we are pulling back from those prints. But like I said, it really comes down to holding that 390. If we hold that 390 trigger up, we're all set. If it breaks past that 390, not going to be looking at it anymore. Next one, AKTX. So this normally would be a side list stock, and I'm going to tell you why in a second, but normally would be a side list stock, but there's just not really much out there for us to be paying much attention to. So, there's really no reason to put it there because it's decent. But if we come over here, you can see, let's see, coming towards that 5 level, we had a few prints there. So we don't really have the greatest of buying, which I really would have liked to see a lot more. And, not only at 5, but even coming up to 5. I mean, you can see it's just not really anything that great. You're talking about prints from 340 and then not until, 390. 390. So I'm not a huge fan. I do like TROV better, but AKTX, I am certainly going to be looking. So if I do see a trigger up, I have no problem with going with it. I just really would have liked to see a lot more buying at that 5 level. And other than that, it's pretty slow. So let's take a look at the scanner. Let's see if anything new is out there. So Trove we already know about. We AKTX we already know about. GNC 623,000 shares, but it really is a very quantity stock. 15 cents on average. Moved 23 cents yesterday. Just not really enough range there for us to pay attention to it. We already know about Twitter. Snap, I rarely ever am going to put on the list because it just is not really a good trade for the most part. It takes forever. The range is absolute garbage, so not really a fan of that at all. So we're going to skip over. And then going over to the loser side, it's just nothing. MBRX and then EDU, which 144,000 shares, but not really making any type of moves. So Qualcomm, same type of deal. Still, the story really hasn't changed yet. It has too much buying. So I know we just saw a lot of sell prints that came back into there, but guess what? We know that's going to happen. We know our price target was 85. If you look at the Traders Exchange, we talked about the exact trade itself as we were coming last week. It was on Thursday because I was away, but we'll come back and they're selling. There's just nothing really going on right now. So it does have a lot of volume, but I'm not worried about this whatsoever. I'm still sticking to my price target of that 85. Now, does that mean that we're not going to come down to the 707 print line today? No, it doesn't at all. I mean, technically, it's all selling this morning. Okay, for the store, this morning story, it's all selling, but for the entire story, we know we have a ton of buying that's underneath there, and this is not going to be stopping it. All right, guys, anything else out there that I missed? All right, I think that's it. So remember, Traders Exchange at 12:30 today. Make sure you get in those questions, and then Trader of the Month will be beginning on the month of May. All right, guys, I will talk to everyone in the chat, and happy trading.